Hello and welcome to the United Stand. How are we all doing? It's getting worse, isn't it? It's getting bloody worse. I mean, you start to think that maybe because of the sun and the sangria and the beer and everything, that it's a joke when you look at Twitter every bloody minute. But the reality is, so Rebic has gone to Sevilla. I think that is actually quite a positive thing, to be honest with you. I think Rebic to Sevilla is good and positive. I think that no, that's not a good pose. Never ever good enough for Manchester United, to be honest with you. But the thing that massively annoys me, I mean, there's this story from Bild about Boateng to Manchester United to do with Anthony Martial, and I just think, right, okay, we're surely not going to make the same mistake as we did with Bayern Munich before with Schweinsteiger, where we basically go and spend a lot of money on a player that's finished, absolutely finished. Boateng in the Premier League would be worse than a 50-year-old Phil Jones. He really would. It'd be a bloody joke. And I've said this for months. Boateng, too slow, too old, too injury prone, never should be coming to Manchester United in a million years, and not the player that we should be looking at. So definitely not. And the fact that United fans are rejoicing because Rummenigge, who is involved at Bayern Munich, has apparently said that we don't need another winger, like they'd be doing us a favour swapping Boateng for Martial, which is the story. Absolutely ridiculous. Gorav says it won't and can't happen. I would agree with that, but the story that I was going to go with, because the Rebic and the Boateng thing has literally only broken the last sort of hour, is, I mean, even bloody Flex from the United Stand needs to wake up. Danny Rose is being mentioned about to Manchester United again, and I just think, look, the show tonight is really going to be about the despair at Manchester United that I think that there is going on at the moment. That it really is ridiculous around the transfer window. We're now, in a week's time, the transfer window's shut. It shuts at 5 o'clock on Thursday. In a week's time it closes on Thursday, so we've got less than a week. We're doing absolutely nothing, and you know what, I'll tell no word of a lie. I was just walking around, pushing Seb around, and this guy came up to me and said, I'm a Manchester United fan, it's Mark, isn't it? And we had a little 5-minute chat, and he said, I think so many United fans are sleeping on this season. And I said, go on then. And he said, well, we're all like, oh yeah, we need to get Mina, won't be that bad, or if we get Maguire or we get Willian, that's okay. And he said, because the reality is, this summer was meant to be about going for the title against Man City. We've done sod all in the transfer market, and we're now desperately trying to make signings to maintain top 4. I took him down to the pub and I bought him a pint. No, I didn't, but I did. I felt like it because I thought this guy actually has got it nailed down. Absolutely got it nailed down. We are making rubbish signings as things stand at the moment, unless there's some big secret out there, which I don't know whether there is. But we are making ridiculous, we are being linked to ridiculous players at the moment. And Danny Rose, I must just say, I will vomit if Danny Rose comes to Manchester United. I mean, I know that Mourinho has been linked to Danny Rose over a long period of time, and I know Flex said, "Oh yeah, let's go and get Danny Rose," but I don't know what he's on about. And there's a lot of other United fans on about. I don't know what he's on about. I mean, it's all about opinion. That's the brilliant thing. But Danny Rose, this is the same Danny Rose who, in the friendly for England, who was it against? Was it Nigeria, where he got, he showed a left-footed player onto their left foot and they scored. No, it was Januzaj, wasn't it, in the World Cup? It was Januzaj in the World Cup in the third group game, where he showed Januzaj onto his strong foot and he scored. He's a shocking defender, Danny Rose. I mean, I don't think Luke Shaw's grasped his opportunity, but Danny Rose is crap. And also, why would we want to sign another fullback who's an understudy for Ashley Young? Let's not forget, Danny Rose was Ashley Young's understudy at the World Cup. He is not the sort of player that Manchester United should go to, and he is nowhere near the sort of player that we should be looking at. But this transfer window seems to be going that way at the moment. It really does. It's desperation, and it's a shambles, and it's late, and it's gone badly wrong, and I'm struggling. I'm really struggling. The same guy who I met there just said, what do you think about next season? I said, look, we're going to get top 4. I think people who think we're not getting top 4, I disagree with that. We're going to get top 4, but this season was meant to be third year Mourinho. It's going to take 3 years, and this year was also meant to be Manchester City battered us last season. We're meant to be going for the title, and I feel like we are becoming that Arsenal team that's just going for top 4, and that's a disgrace for a club like Manchester United to be doing that. It really is. We're far better than that as a club, as a fan base, and as a history. and we should be playing good football, and this shouldn't be happening at Manchester United. We have got a week where we can sort of wait and see what's going to happen. World Channel says Maguire deal is off and him and Vardy are not playing next Friday. What do you think of this, Mark? That's the first I've heard about it, so I don't know why they wouldn't be playing. I suppose it's because they're not back in time. I believe in Mourinho, says Joe Marquez. Look, there is a lot of nonsense going on, and the reason there's a lot of nonsense going on, and we know there's a lot of nonsense going on, is because United have been continually linked to Rebic. Now Rebic is going to Sevilla for £21 million. Now Manchester United were linked to him for £35 million. If Manchester United were in for him, then he would be coming to Manchester United, wouldn't he? But he's not. He's going to go to Sevilla for £21 million. So there's a lot of nonsense out there. We had that story last week where Woodward apparently said to a fan, it's all a load of, don't believe what you read in the papers. And, as a United fan channel, when we were doing the transfer dailies, you do talk about the paper stories like we are talking about now with the Build and the Boateng and the Martial. But the reality is, regardless of whether you want to believe paper stories or not, this transfer window is an absolute shambles, and it is becoming despair. And there's nothing wrong with being despairing about it, because it is a shambles. It is an absolute shambles that we've basically got 6 days left of this transfer window, and all we've signed is Fred. As I've said before, Phil and Grant, Tony Grant, he's just a third choice goalkeeper, and Pereira, the goalkeeper, has gone to Vitória Setúbal, which I think is Mourinho's hometown in Portugal. He's gone on loan there. I'm going to be honest, a lot of people are saying good luck to him. I actually think that's a real cop-out. I thought, so he's going to some half-decent Portuguese team on loan, but we want him to play in the Premier League. Why is Pereira not going on loan to Bournemouth or something like that? I don't know what... I don't get Mourinho sometimes. Joel Pereira looks like he can be a fantastic goalkeeper, and we're sending him off to Portugal. What league do we play in, Jose? We play in the Premier League. Is the Premier League anything like the Portuguese league? No. Do you think it'd be useful if he played in the Premier League or the Championship, where he's got to deal with crosses? The perfect place for Pereira to go on loan, the goalkeeper, was the Championship, because it's 46 games a season, it's rough and ready, it's high ball, and that's what he needs to learn, the English game. No, we'll send him off to bloody Portugal. I just do not get it. I do not get it. But who am I to say? The Manchester United job's very difficult. It's the most difficult job in the world. And boy oh boy is Mourinho and Woodwards and the board making it very difficult at the moment. We should have got business done. We should have got business done by now. 3 months this transfer window has been running. And the rumour is that a lot of the big clubs like Real Madrid, PSG, Bayern Munich, they're waiting to do their business after next Thursday, because they know after next Thursday they've got a free run at whatever the Premier League hasn't done. And it's right. I said this months ago. This early closure of the transfer window that Manchester United and Man City voted against, and it was Wenger's legacy, old bloody mafia boss Wenger getting all the little clubs to vote for closing the transfer window shorter because he felt it was a disadvantage to go into the season being able to do transfer business. What an idiotic legacy that is. The reality is the Premier League transfer window closes on Thursday. The rest of the world has another month. And they're not doing business because they're all waiting for our window to close so that they can go and get their targets without the competitive element of the rich Premier League clubs. And I don't blame them for doing that. But that's no excuse. We knew that was going to happen. And the way that we've dealt with this transfer window is shocking. What I would say on a positive is that Toby Alderweireld, I think, will definitely leave Spurs, and I think Manchester United are desperately trying to pull that off. Toby Alderweireld will be a good signing. I've got nothing negative to say about that. If we do that signing, it's a good signing. But are we now going to be doing more than 2 signings in the next 6 days? Are we even going to do 2? I mean, I think we will do 2. I've got to say, I think we're going to do 2 signings. Yes, that is my boat behind my this shoulder. You follow my finger. That's my boat. Forrest Gump reference there. Yeah, that's mine. Yeah. But in seriousness, I think we'll do 2 deals in the next 6 weeks. 6 days. I wish we had 6 weeks. Although it wouldn't matter if we had 6 months. The deals we've done this summer are shocking. But I think we'll do two deals in the next 6 days. I think it will be Alderweireld and Willian. We obviously spoke about Willian this morning. I can't see who the right midfielder is going to be, because it's not going to be Rebic. It's going to be Willian. I don't think it's going to be Willian. It's not going to be Perisic. Yeah, it's Robbie's boat. You're right, Kieran. But Alderweireld and Willian, is that a good transfer window? No, it's not. We've missed the biggest thing ever, which is the left back. And you know what? If we sign Danny Rose, we're in a worse situation than we were before, because it's 50 million down the drain, and Luke Shaw is better than Danny Rose. So I would, again, I do despair about this transfer window, because even if miraculously we turned this transfer window around and did something ridiculous in the next few days, they've put the fans through the mill with the incompetence again. There's no reason to be in 6 days into this transfer window closure and the situation we are with 3 players down. We need a left back, we need a centre back, and we need a right midfielder. And the only reason we don't need another midfielder is because Pereira's been like a new signing, which I don't think that Jose Mourinho ever really predicted that was going to happen. So I think that we're lucky that it's not 4 really, because Jose Mourinho, we needed 2 midfielders this summer. And the only reason we don't need another midfielder is because of Pereira. But there's no way Mourinho was expecting Pereira to do that. So we've got lucky with Pereira. World Cup Gold Channel says, I'm only reading it because I think you might have some more clarity. As you said, not even 1 week left now. How many players do you think we'll get, and who? I think we'll get 2, and I do think it'll be Alderweireld and Willian. The Alderweireld story is simply this. I know there was a lot of people in May saying Alderweireld deal done and all that lot. We've not been in for Alderweireld until he's come back from the World Cup ended, went on holiday. United got an indication that Alderweireld would be interested in coming to United, and that's when negotiations opened with Spurs. All this nonsense talk about United being in for him in May or during the World Cup was nonsense. United had made no headway with that at all, because Alderweireld was focused on the World Cup. Willian is obviously, Mourinho's a big fan of his. But yeah, going back to what I was saying there, we got Fred, we needed another midfielder, a left back, a centre back, and a right midfielder. We're not getting a left back now. We've got the midfielder luckily in Pereira, and we'll probably get the centre back and the right midfielder. It's just not good enough. It's not good enough. Jose will be gone by Christmas, says Darren. I think Jose is a different matter. I think Jose Mourinho's the judgment of Jose Mourinho will start as soon as the season starts, so a week on Friday. As of at the moment, I think everything is to do with Woodward and the board. And as I tweeted out this morning, I think either Manchester United are going to do something absolutely crazy in this transfer window over the next few days, or the Glazers are getting a big fat Christmas bonus again. Because when you think about it, Rojo's going to go to Everton for about £30 million. Blind went to Ajax for 15, that's 45 million. Sam Johnston was sold for about 5 million. That's 50 million pounds we've made in sales. Well, we've only spent 70. So actually, and I know Liverpool love net spend, but the reality is net spend is relevant to Manchester United, because Mourinho should have had 150 million pounds in his pocket this summer. If you want to go and win the title, you need 300 million, but he should have been given 150 million because of the size of the club we are. So let's say he's been given 150 million, he spent 70, but he's got 50 back. So he's still got 130 million pounds to spend. Or the club is ripping us off again. A Colombian friend of mine was raving about Mina 18 months ago. He may surprise us. Flash Gordon. Look, what I'll say about Mina is that it's uninspiring, it's a massive risk, it's not who they wanted at the start of the summer, it's desperate, and to be honest with you, I don't think there's a hell of a lot of difference between Yerry Mina and Fosu Mensah or Twan Sebi in a couple of years. And I know people will start laughing at me for that, but realistically, if you get Toby Alderweireld, you are getting a centre-back better than what we've got. If you get Harry Maguire, I believe you're getting a centre-back better than what we've got. I don't think he's massively better than Lindelof and Bailly, but he's better. If you get Yerry Mina, he's not better than Bailly, he's not better than Lindelof. I don't think he's even better than Smalling, and I'd argue he's not a hell of a lot better than Phil Jones. I don't get the Yerry Mina signing. I've got to be honest with you. I don't get it if we sign Yerry Mina. I really don't, because he's not. He's a Barcelona reject. He scored a couple of goals, 3 goals in the World Cup. Well done, mate. He's played 5 games for Barcelona in 6 months. He's played 30 games for Palmeiras in 2 years. United might have scouted him, and Mourinho might think he's good, But is this not the same thing we did with Lindelof last year, who hardly ever played? So I would cry if we signed Yerry Mina. I have to believe it's a smokescreen for Alderweireld. If we signed Yerry Mina, it doesn't make any sense. He's a development player, he's a risk player. We're meant to be trying to win the league. Or we're meant to be trying to hold on to top 4. Right, let's take a few of your questions. But no, seriously, it's only because I'm on holiday and I'm having a few drinks and the sun's great and I'm having a good time. If I was back at home in the studio, I would be pulling my hair out like the thumbnail, because this is a joke. And I'm saying it to the lad. I said, the thing is, this is a joke. This summer was meant to be about closing the gap on City and aggressively trying to win a title. We've done sod all. We've been about aggressive as a wet fart. You know, it's been absolutely a shambles, this transfer window. And I sympathise with Jose Mourinho. But yet again, Woodward has let himself down and he's let the club down. I think we've done a good couple of brand deals again. Great, loads of money coming in. But people talk about these brand deals. They make sod all difference. Cola on the arm, whatever. Where is the money? Where is that money? All it's doing is going into the Glazers' pocket. If that money, I'd rather we had no brand deals, because the reality is we're not spending the bloody money anyway. Why are all the City players who played in the World Cup back? United players still have holiday. Is their holidays longer? The best. I'm trying to think of City players that actually played in the World Cup final or semi-finals. That's probably what it's all about. Zlatan likes to talk crap, says Mark Van O. You know what? Somebody tweeted me today, and I'm just going to be controversial because I feel like it. In relation to... I messed my screen up there. In relation to Zlatan, somebody messaged me today and said, why is Zlatan considered a Manchester United legend by so many United fans? They live on his tweets, they live on his posts, and all he did was 9 months where he scored a few goals and then got injured and never came back. And I think, you know what, I don't get the Zlatan loving with Manchester United fans. He isn't a United legend. I like the bloke, but again, I agree with that comment. He was here for 9 months, he got a bad injury and he never played again. He's on a par with somebody like, well, I can't even think who he's on a par with. I like Zlatan, but all these United fans who retweet his tweets and think he's bloody brilliant and this, that and the other. He's a good player, I like Zlatan, but I don't really see the correlation with Manchester United, I've got to be honest. Toby Alderweireld's coming to United signifies Lindelof's end, says Goraf. I don't necessarily agree with you, because we might play a 3-5-2. I would love to see Bailly on the right, Lindelof in the middle running it, and Alderweireld on the left, or the other way around. I think that'd be a really good back three. What do you think about Zidane replacing Jose, says Jake Green? Jose Mourinho's not going anywhere, so I can't answer that. We need a left back so badly, says Bread Devil. I've been saying it all summer. A few of you have been saying it all summer. We needed a left back this summer, and I can't believe we've not signed one. I mean, the reality is, I can't believe Fellaini's still at the club. What a joke that is. But I also can't believe that Ashley Young is still going to be our left back. I mean, they're almost the two biggest things I would have said in May. Get rid of Fellaini and Ashley Young not left back. I mean, it is scary. We're not winning the league. Look, we're not winning the league. I'm doing the preview next week, but I'm going to do the preview for the season as close to the transfer window closing as possible. But we're not winning the league with Ashley Young at left back. No way. And we're not winning the league with Fellaini bit getting in the way, innit? I'm even saying in it. Shaw will shine in the new style, says Nicholas Pitt. Luke Shaw's not going to start, mate. That US tour from Luke Shaw was average. It was bang average. And I like Luke Shaw, but you look at what Pereira did on that US tour, right? He was absolutely fantastic every single game. Look at what Luke Shaw did on that tour. Okay, he wasn't terrible, but he was okay. But what that shows me, if I'm a manager, and Jose Mourinho is the manager, but what that shows me is that, okay, Pereira is the standard. That's what you need to do on a US tour to get yourself in my team. Luke Shaw just didn't do enough, and he had the biggest opportunity. I mean, let's be honest, Andres Pereira, when he played that first game as CDM, I was like, what a waste of time. He's not even a CDM, and no one's ever going to play ahead of Matic. At the end of the US tour, we're like, what a CDM he is, he should be playing ahead of Matic. That's how you make an impact in football. You know, I really didn't see Pereira getting an opportunity. Now I'm thinking he's quicker, he's better on the ball. I would play him ahead of Matic. But Luke Shaw, who's basically got an opportunity to be our left back, doesn't grasp it. Our man says, is it conceivable to keep Mourinho if he gets top four given the lack of investment? I don't know what's going on at this club anymore, Armand. I don't. I think at the start of the summer we were all saying Mourinho's got to win the title or he's going to be sacked. I think at the end of the summer we're saying he can't win the title. He can't win the title. He's not had the investment. There doesn't seem to be a massive change in the way we're going to play. He can't win the title, but I've got a funny feeling he'll survive next summer as well. Which is where I think we need to be very careful as fans. And this is what I've started off saying, is that be very careful about your expectations. The expectations at the start of this summer was that Manchester United were going to sign players to go and try and win a league title. We've not done that. We haven't made the signings to go and win a league title, and we won't make those signings now because we need another 3 signings. We need a left back, a centre back, and a right midfielder. We're not going to do that in 6 days. We've got to make 2 just to sort of, I think, hold on to second place. If we make 1, we might be fighting for 4th. I don't know whether we're going to make 1 or 2. I think we'll make 2, but we're not going to make the 3, and we're not going to win the title. So I think the club just don't give a crap. They're just happy with top 4, and I think if Mourinho gets top 4, they'll say he's staying. What does that mean for us fans who think if you don't win the title, you've got to get the sack? In normal circumstances, a Manchester United manager who's been here 3 years and not won the title would be sacked. But we're not in a normal circumstances here. We've got fans who totally agree with that, but we've got owners who, we've just been annihilated by our neighbours, Man City. We're 20 points off them, and we've made no impact. We've made no effort to try and close that gap for a new season. We've just sat back and gone, we're happy with top 4. So you tell me that Mourinho will get the sack if we get 3rd next season or 2nd. They won't do it. They won't do it. Would be embarrassing from Jose to get sacked twice in a row, but the board expect him to make it happen with no money. I think Mourinho will get top 4 next season, and I would sack him if he didn't win the title, even though I'm Jose Mourinho in. I think 3 years in, you've got to win the title at Manchester United, but I think the club will keep him. But I've said this before, if this club are not going to invest in a checkbook manager, which is what Jose Mourinho is, they never should have appointed him. We could win the title with the squad that we've got, but you'd need to have the right sort of manager for it. And that manager needs to be someone who promotes the youth and somebody who plays good football. And there's loads of managers out there who can play good football and develop the youth. Unfortunately, that's not Jose Mourinho, but that's indicative of our board. We've got brilliant businessmen, but poor football men. And also, as I've said before, I can't find the answer to this. Glazers don't support Manchester United, and I don't think Ed Woodward does. So the people with the most power at our club don't even support it. I'm sure they support it now, though, because of all the money they make. We also need a right back, says Andrew Ellis. Well, Dalot might be quite good. There's loads of problems with that team. Farouk just said, did he just say that Jose Mourinho was a checkbook manager? 100%, mate. 100% Jose Mourinho's a checkbook manager. I think people get offended by that. Why get offended by it? He is a checkbook manager. Mourinho needs the money. And if you give him the money, he'll win you the titles. Pep Guardiola's a checkbook manager, and he plays good football. There's nothing wrong with being a checkbook manager, actually. In the modern game, it comes in handy quite a lot. But what annoys me is that Mourinho's never been given the money. We would get any manager in the world were Manchester United, says John Burnett. I'll tell you what, I'm going to finish off. I'm not going to finish it off. I'm just going to take a bit of a walk because it's my back's starting to hurt a bit. I think Jose... Oh, God, Andrew Thompson, you've just absolutely nailed it. He says, I think that Jose Mourinho likes Darmian. Here's, you know, your wish you've stayed to the end of the show now, because this is going to be the best bit of the whole bloody lot. So apparently Darmian's agent has said that Darmian wants to leave Manchester United, but there's no chance of him being allowed to go because Jose Mourinho doesn't want to sell Darmian. What a bloody joke we are as a club. Darmian hardly played last season. Mourinho hardly picked Darmian last season, and suddenly he wants him to stay. You know what that tells you? He can't get the signings he wants, so suddenly to have a squad, he's keeping players that he never even played last season but are suddenly important now. So if Darmian wasn't good enough last season, but he's now good enough this season, what does that tell you? It tells you we are stepping backwards as a club. It really does, because if Darmian wasn't good enough last season, but now he is good enough, we're stepping backwards as a club, aren't we? I'll show you that behind. There's a boat going by. Please do drop a like on the video. I'll tell you what, I have got very good wireless and you know why it is? Because this beach has got probably the best Wi-Fi in the whole of Spain. I researched it. It's not why we came on holiday here, but it is very good. Right, Jose, Pereira's not going to go on loan. Remember to drop a like on the video because we're nearly at 1,000 likes, and I think the background and the Wi-Fi deserves it. So what I'm doing at the moment on the United stand is we've got the situation with the transfer daily gets done at 10 o'clock your time, around 10 o'clock your time. So I'll do transfer daily at 10 o'clock your time tomorrow, and then we're doing the 8 o'clock show as per usual, as I've just done now. So thanks everyone for watching. Drop a like on the video, but most importantly, you can leave a comment below on the video. And what I want you to do is leave your comments below about this transfer window and how you're feeling about it. How are you feeling about this transfer window? Because I'm actually in despair at the moment. I really am. I think 6 days to go and you need 3 signings if you're going to try and win the title. We're not even going to get those 3. Hopefully we'll get 2. But it's shambolic, isn't it? Who's running the show? Who is running the show? Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for joining me. I'll be back tomorrow at 10 o'clock your time and 8 o'clock tomorrow night your time. And at some point we will make some signings. I'll speak to you all soon. Thanks very much.